Good morning, love streamers. Welcome to the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living's Sunday Love Stream for February 28th, 2021. We're so happy that you're here. Reverend Elizabeth is off today and sends her love and appreciation to you for all your love and prayers. And we send them right back to you, Reverend Elizabeth. We have a great service planned today. Our first international guest speaker for you this morning, all the way from France, is Dr. Jim-Lockard. And he will be joining us shortly, as well as opening prayer and announcements with BJ DiGirolamo and Charlie Carlin with the Science of Mind reading. Our musical inspiration, raising the vibe today, is the talented Amy Steinberg. Woohoo! I would love to invite you to share this love stream with your family and friends. Perhaps start a watch party. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to leave comments. And if you we're also streaming on YouTube, so a big hello to you watching on YouTube or watching the replay in the future. To preserve the flow of service this morning, I will introduce our musician and our guest speaker for the day now. So, Dr. Jim-Lockard is an ordained minister, teacher, speaker, author, blogger, coach, consultant, and thought leader. Raised in Baltimore, Maryland, he is currently living in Lyon, France, with his wife, Doriane Cotter-Lockard, PhD. They are frequent presenters at international conferences in the spiritual, business, and academic fields. Jim teaches a 9-month course in metaphysical psychology to a small group of students each year. For 20 years, Jim has served as spiritual leader in the Centers for Spiritual Living in California, Florida, and Maryland. He has also served on the board of directors of International Centers for Spiritual Living, the advisory board of the Association for Global New Thought, AGNT, and is a certified presenter and coach of the spiral dynamics model, Theory U, the Q process, Edgewalkers, and SQ21 spiritual intelligence coaching programs. As an author, Dr. Jim has written 4 books and has 2 blogs. One New Thought evolutionary blog, popular in New Thought circles and beyond, is found at newthought-evolutionary.wordpress.com. Another on wine, JimLockardOnWine.com, plus an occasional blog for the Association for Global New Thought. And we are so blessed to have Dr. Jim joining us today. Thank you so much. And our musical inspiration, as I mentioned, today is Amy Steinberg, uplifting, enlightening, and hilarious with a voice that can burn down the house. Amy Steinberg is singer, songwriter, and storyteller like none other. She plays the piano and guitar with her own swingy rhythmic bounce, injecting shades of jazz, rock, hip-hop, and poetry, all with a theatrical flair, deeply soulful, with her bombastic belt, and she sings of self-love, open-mindedness, and the holiness of everything. Amy's music ministry is full-on at the House of Love and Light, Asheville. Holla! Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook. You can find and purchase Amy Steinberg music at amysteinberg.net and anywhere music is sold, iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon. And now let us light the way with inspired music by the beloved Amy Steinberg.
Ooh, it's almost like I wrote that bio myself. I'm gonna lay my burden down now. Can I hear a hallelujah? Can I hear an amen? I'm gonna leave it on the ground. Well, ooh, this freedom I'm feeling, well, it can't be found when I'm looking down. No. I'm gonna climb up to the mountains, spread my wings and fly, 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 fly. All these blessings I'm counting, well, I got more than all the stars in the sky. I got more than all the stars in the sky. I got more than all the stars in the sky. Feel light as a feather, floating on an angel's wing. I won't worry about the weather, 'cause I am one with with everything. I am one with everything. I am one with everything. I am one with everything. Come on. I am one with everything. I am one with everything. I am one with everything. This world is bright and holy, and heaven is in my sight. All my troubles try to find me, but they can't when I'm on this cosmic flight. I feel right everywhere now, and all I wanna do is sing. Not a single solitary care now. I am one with everything. 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 We are unstoppable just like the wind. Anything is possible from God within. The root is good in each of us here, and the nature of love is in everyone, everywhere. What spirit originates, spirit orchestrates, willingness, gratitude create your fate. One power, one people under one sun. Peace, love, joy, and freedom. I am one with everything. I am one with everything. This peace that penetrates me moves quicker than a laser beam. Oh, the devil cannot faze me, 'cause I am one with everything. I am one with everything. One more time, come on, sing it with me, come on. I am one with everything. You know that feeling? I am one with everything. I am one with everything. I am one with everything. Good morning.
Whoa! Thank you, Amy Steinberg. Woo! All right, she'll be back
Jazz
with us. Yeah. All right, so I will love to officially welcome you to the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living, where all that we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of changing your entire life by changing your mind. This service has been designed especially for you. Welcome home. So if you wouldn't mind to take a moment to share this video on Facebook or start a watch party if you can. We send your love in the comments section here on Facebook, or start a watch party. We love you and we appreciate you. I will now read today's affirmation, and I invite you to repeat after me. All the power of the universe is with me. I feel it. I know it. I act as if it were true, because it is. And so it is. All right. And now I will welcome back into the stream Amy Steinberg. Light us up.
What's my purpose? What's the purpose of life? I've been through the desert, walked in the ocean, climbed up a mountain, and I've sang in the wind, cried out in the moonlight, and I've drank that potion, wished in the fountain, and I've lived in sin. Hallelujah. I keep searching for an answer to make me complete. But every time I think that I found it, the ground shifts under my feet. What I know is every moment is a blessing, and every love is like a light, and beauty comes with every sunrise. And living is the purpose, living is the purpose, living is the purpose, living is the purpose of life. Oh, yeah, living is the purpose of your life. I talk to the goddess lie in the night. You dance with the devil, and I've screamed at the storm. I've cried out from the moonlight, and I've drank that potion and wished in the fountain. Oh, and I believe I keep searching for an answer to make me complete. But every time I think that I found it, the ground shifts under my feet. What I know is every moment is a blessing, and every love is like a light, and beauty comes with every sunrise. And living is the purpose, living is the purpose, living is the purpose. What's my purpose? Living is the purpose of life. Oh yeah, living is the purpose of life. And every kiss is a wonder, and every heart is like a shooting star. And you are perfect in this moment. So live out loud, live out loud, live out loud, live out loud, live out loud. And just be who you are. You be you. Everyone else is taken. Be who you, be who you, be who you, be who you are. I said living is the purpose. Be who you are. You're my superstar. Be who you are. Living is the purpose. I said living is the purpose. Come on. Living is the purpose. What? Living is the purpose of your life.
Wow.
Good morning, PJ.
Yeah, good morning, Amy. That's awesome. Yay. Amazing. Thank you so much. Good morning, CSL. Hey, I am your announcements angel today, and I will read our mission statement. With everything we do, we aim to raise the vibe. We teach innovative spiritual practices and principles that inspire deeper love of self and others, transformation, a closer relationship with God, freedom from suffering, expansive joy, prosperity, and healing of the mind, body, and spirit. We are a conscious group of positive, inspired, spiritually motivated individuals transforming lives. We just happen to have a spiritual center. Want to check us out?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Please join us for a coffee and conversation after the service at 11 a.m.-ish via Zoom. The link will be in the comments section here, and you can find it on our center page in the Coffee and Conversation event. Join us for our spiritual community connection calls now, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. You can find the link on our Facebook page under events. We are no longer holding these on Mondays and Fridays, and we are open to possibility and what is seeking to emerge in those time slots. Anybody have any ideas? Something wonderful will emerge for sure. There is still room in the Tuesday AM grief group, which began last week with our beloved Reverend Diane Davison. Wednesdays are now full. This class is held online via Zoom, which meets on Tuesdays for 8 weeks, February 23rd through April 13th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The cost for this class is $59, which includes a copy of the Grief Recovery Handbook by John W. James and Russell Friedman. The class is limited to 12, and you can register at cccSL.org/what's happening. Reverend Elizabeth is now available for spiritual coaching sessions. And these are by appointment only on Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. Please contact her at Reverend Elizabeth at cccSL.org to book a session and get more details. Next Sunday, we are beyond thrilled to have Jamie Lula back in the house as our musical inspiration. You won't want to miss that. Also, e-news. Subscribe to our e-news to keep up with all the amazing events happening in our center. You can do this by going to our website at cccsl.org. Choose e-news and follow the instructions there, or email us at info@cccSL.org and we will get you added. And we just want to take this time to thank you for your ongoing donations to our center during this unique time. Our operations are fully supported by your generosity, and we're looking forward to gathering at our physical center in the future. You can donate here on Facebook Live with the donate button, or via PayPal at paypal.me/CCCSLLOVE, CCCSL Love. You can also visit our landing page and click the donate link in the center of the page. Thank you for your consideration. We love you guys. Okay, now friends, I'd just like to bring your attention. This is a call for prayer requests. So I would like to remind you that if there's something heavy on your heart for which you need prayer for, or perhaps if you're looking to manifest something magnificent in your life, you can send your prayer request to info@cccSL.org, and our prayer team will pray over them for you. And now, my friends, it is my honor to turn it back over to our dear friend Charlie Carlin for our Science of Mind reading.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Today's reading is about joy, and it's from The Journey into Life by Ernest Holmes. We must enter into the joy of life if we expect the joy of life to enter into us. If the great adventure were a closed book, if there were no trails that ran into the unknown, if there were no horizons beyond our present experience, the joy would go out of living. But the jubilant soul is beholding one and the great adventure of life. The great game of living lies in enthusiastic expectancy of the more yet to come. Yes, enthusiastic expectancy of the more to come. Life is intended to us to be glad. There is always a song when we know how to sing it, and always a joy if we can find it. Life is not meant to be sad, dreary, forlorn, or hopeless. It is not meant to be a funeral march. It is meant to be a grand and sublime song of praise, a proclamation of joy through the acceptance of happiness and wholeness in God. God is happy. And if we wish to draw happiness into our experience, we must first unify ourselves with the happiness and the joy that God is. How can we believe in a weeping universe, or a God, or a sad God, or a melancholy first cause? Such concepts contradict the fundamental necessity of reality, that God is a synonym for wholeness. A person filled with joy must lavish it on others. One must share it with them. In this way, one multiplies their own happiness. We should live each day as though it were complete and perfect within itself. We should live each day as though all the joy in the universe were ours now. Practice this daily, every day, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Charlie. Wonderful reading. So I would just like to invite you all now to just relax and just take a deep breath in and let it out. And together, as we center ourselves in this divine love bubble called this love stream, we just recognize that there truly is one spirit, one God, one universal life force that lives in all things, seen and unseen. It is that amazing divine perfection that we see in nature. And as this time starts awakening into spring, we notice it in the buds that are beginning to pop in some of the almond trees, or in some of the early spring flowers that are just starting to pop up. We watch the awakening, and it is this awakening within that we are united with this spirit. It is everywhere present. It is in, as, and through us, just as it is in, as, and through these flowers and these buds on the trees. And as we begin to awaken out of our winter slumber, we awaken to the divine perfection which is in us. We know that just as Charlie spoke in his reading and Amy in her music, this is a life to be lived. We live it to the fullest. I want to be that person that is running super fast and sliding into home base at the end of my day saying, yes, I did it. And I am happy and I am grateful for everything that has manifested in my life. And I know if it's true for me, it's true for each and every one of you. And as we share this love together, this love stream, we know that everything that Dr. Jim says today is going to be that divine message, the download that he gets that speaks to us and fills us with joy and happiness and touches our soul in a way that we may have never been touched before. We open ourselves up to that divine perfection, just like a flower. And so I know that those that are not with us this morning, we continue to pray for Reverend Elizabeth and her family at this time. And we just see them enveloped in God's love and light. And I am just so grateful for each and every one that is part of this love stream this morning. Travis behind the scenes doing production, and Charlie's reading, Amy's music, and Dr. Jim's words. We're just so grateful that we all have this time together. And so as we each go through our day today, I know it is divinely blessed in so many days, in so many ways, and so many days. Yes, every day is a divine blessing, and we are so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for this truth, this knowledge, and this way of life. And I am so grateful for each and everyone watching today, knowing that you are here just by divine guidance to be here. You said yes, and you opened yourself to Spirit and to each other. And so as we go forth, we just know that we can release this prayer knowing that Spirit is the one that is guiding everything. We open ourselves up and we allow it to be. And we sit in the back of the bus for the ride, just knowing that Spirit is driving everything. And we welcome that. And we embrace that. And together we can just claim our good by saying, and so it is.
Wow. What a beautiful, beautiful gift. Thank you so much, BJ. And it is truly a blessing and an honor to be here with you today. And that reading from Ernest Holmes on joy just reminded me I've been in bondage. I've been held back. I've been imprisoned by thoughts of fear and lack. And I have had anger, oh yeah. And I've had guilt. It's true. These are the bricks on which my life's been built. But I'm free to turn it around. Can I hear an amen? Yes, I'm free to turn it around. Yes, we are free to turn it around. Free to look up instead of looking down. tired of looking down. It's exhausting. But see, I've been attracted, it's true, to negative thought. I get so distracted. Shiny thing, shiny thing. I get so distraught. But see, I know that I am responsible. Only me, for my own life. I cannot blame you. How can I lift my chin up? Oh yes. And look to the light. Oh, yes, I'm free to turn it around. Can I hear an A, women? Yes, I'm free to turn it around. Oh, we are all free to turn it around. No more looking down. I get so tired. See, I've been in bondage. I've been held back. I've been imprisoned by thought, imprisoned by my own thought, imprisoned by my own thought of fear and lack. I've had anger. I've been so mad. Oh, I have been so mad, especially at the TV. Well, I've had guilt. Yes, I have. But see, these are no longer the bricks. I got you, I got love. These are no longer the bricks. I got joy, I got power. These are no longer the bricks on which my life is due. 'Cause I've turned it around. That's right.
Holy smoke. Hey, woman!
Jazz hands.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You'll be back with us at the near the end after the talk. So thank you so much, Amy Steinberg. You got a lot of love in the comments there.
I love you all.
I love you too.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And it is my great honor to introduce to you, if you have not heard of Dr. Jim, you're in for a treat. And without further ado, I'm going to bring Dr. Jim into the stream. Take it away, Dr. Jim.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Travis. Wow, it's fantastic to be with you today. And women, I love that. I'm going to share that at dinner with my wife tonight. I'm sure she will appreciate it. And Amy is it's always wonderful when our paths cross, which is, every now and then at various events. And it's so great to listen to Amy's great music and to be part of this experience. We're living in interesting times, which is in some contexts in China a curse. May you live in interesting times, and we certainly are. And I know that many of us are facing a variety of challenges that, I don't have to go through the litany of things that we're having to deal with, the pandemic being, of course, a big one, and some of the other things going on. Plus, we all have our personal things going on in life and our family issues and all the other kinds of things that have made this quite a challenging year. I was on the phone with my daughter a little while ago, and she's living in Washington, D.C. right now. She was in New York pre-pandemic, a Broadway costume designer. And of course, she lost all that work. She had to leave her apartment and move out of New York, and she's gotten a real estate license, and she's trying to make her way in a new field. And we were talking about my upcoming birthday in July, and I said, well, I'd love to have you come over here, but I'm not sure that'll be able to happen. And she goes, yeah, we'll have to postpone it. I said, yeah, I don't think this year should count in our age. I think we should be able to just stay the same age we were when we entered the pandemic. And her response to that was, yeah, but I think we've all gotten older during this year. So with that in mind, I find that the best thing for me to do when I am challenged in ways that are very basic and fundamental, and when I'm looking around and seeing other people challenged as well, I like to go back to the basics of our teaching, to remember who I am. So I'm going to bring up some slides, and the topic of this talk will be the power of mind. And I think it's something that we just have to remind ourselves of from time to time. Ernest Holmes wrote, "We believe that the manifest universe is the body of God." And whatever term you use, whether you use the term God, I prefer spirit or creative intelligence of the universe or whatever it is. I don't really care what word you use. But for that big, all that is, that transcendent, universal reality that is infinite, that we live, in which we live, move, and have our being, whatever term you use for that, that's the term I invite you to use. And we believe that the manifest universe is the body of that spirit, of that truth, of that infinite presence. And that is what we have available to us to call upon when we remember to do so and learn how to do it effectively. So I'm going to take you through some quotes from some of our New Thought leaders over the years. And the first one is Charles Fillmore from the Unity Movement. And I love this quote, and it's all in caps because it's to be thought or said loudly. "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me." You know, that's one of those quotes that I think is so powerful. It's uplifting. It also is nuanced a bit. The things that ought to be done by me. So implicit in that message is that I need to be aware of what is mine to do. One of the problems we have with times like this is we look around, we listen to the media, we turn on the TV, we go on social media, and there are so many voices crying out for help, for assistance, for prayer, for whatever, for need. And sometimes we want to try to help everyone, and it's overwhelming, and we burn out very quickly if we do that. So part of the message here from Charles Fillmore is, let me focus on what is mine to do and become clear about that, and trust that that which is not mine to do is someone else's to do. So one of the things that we have to really, I think, be aware of as we're in times like this is to really home in on that, just that very thing. What is mine? What is my responsibility? What do my strengths lead me toward? What issues resonate with me deeply? And can I narrow my focus a bit so that I can be more effective? I think that's really important. Our beloved Ernest Holmes wrote, "Let us think of life," and where he capitalizes life, that's a euphemism for God or spirit or the creative intelligence. So let us think of life as pure spirit creating through the agency of its word. That is, by thought or idea. The thought or idea of life automatically becomes law. The law of life is a law of mind and action. What Ernest is reminding us of here is that we live in a lawful universe, and the laws that are important to us are what we would call spiritual laws. The physical laws of the universe, I think, are subsets of those spiritual laws. And cause and effect, the idea that as I think, so I become, is such a critical idea, that one that, again, if we don't take that seriously, we can go down that dark hole of negative thinking, as Amy so brilliantly put in her last song, of temptation, of distraction, of becoming lazy in our thinking. And when a crisis arises, we only have that which we have prepared ourselves for. In other words, I don't get creative in a crisis. I may get creative thinking about the crisis when it's over, but in the moment when it's important that I react, I only have to call upon that which I have prepared myself for. So our daily practice of prayer treatment, of meditation, and other things that we might do, like journaling or being of service or practicing kindness are all the things that prepare us to encounter the challenges of life. And we are living in a lawful universe. That is so important to remember. And the law responds equally to all. William James, one of the founders of Western psychology, said the greatest revolution of our generation is that human beings, by challenging the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives. This idea of being able to direct our own experience by the way that we think and feel was just really, it sort of had been known, but it was just really emerging in this field of psychology in the late 1800s, about the same time that the New Thought movement was being founded by Mary Baker Eddy and others. And what we have found as psychology has gotten better and better at understanding the workings of our mind, is that by taking dominion over our conscious thoughts and aligning our emotional selves with our desires, we can bring greater good into our lives. And when we bring greater good into our lives, we are then more available to contribute to help others. That is such an important idea. See, some people say, well, the science of mind is really a selfish thing. It's about getting stuff and manifesting things. And I would say that's an aspect of it, but it's a small aspect of it. The bigger aspect of this teaching is finding out and realizing who we are as spiritual beings, so that we can then turn outward and be of contribution to the rest of creation, to humankind, to all living beings, to taking stewardship accountability for our planet and for all the creatures on it, for living intelligent and compassionate lives. All of that begins with the idea that when we change our attitudes by thought, we begin to grow into the reality of who we came here to be. This is so critical at a time like this, when we're bombarded often by negative images, and we often don't respond to those effectively. And it's not that we want to not face the issue. You see, when I was a little boy and I was learning to ride a bicycle, it took me a while to figure it out. I had the training wheels on, maybe longer than some of the other kids, and what my dad finally figured out I was doing, when he would like walk beside me, or I would ride, with the training wheels, and I really focused. I was so focused. I had my tongue outside my mouth, as you really do when you're focusing when you're a little kid. And he would say, "Look out, there's a rock in front of you." And I would focus on that rock, and I'd hit the rock. And maybe sometimes that would knock me over. And he said, "I see what you're doing." He said, "You're focusing on the rock." He said, "Here's what you need to do. When you see that there's a rock in front of you, note that there's a rock, but then look past the rock. Look where you're going to go when you go around the rock, and you'll automatically go around the rock." And I found that to be the case. So it's not that we don't look at the rock. If you're riding down on a bicycle and you just kind of look away, you're going to hit the rock too, or maybe just ride off the road. So no, we look at the challenges in front of us, but then we turn our inner attention and intention to seeing our way through to the desired outcome. That's so important. Good coaches know that in athletics. You help the athlete see the end result, keep the end result in mind, crossing home plate or scoring the touchdown or hitting the goal into the net, whatever the case may be. That's what drives you forward in the learning of the mechanics of whatever you're doing. So the mechanics of the science of mind are using our thoughts and feelings to resonate with the desires that we would have for ourselves, all the time realizing more deeply and more deeply and more deeply our own spiritual nature. Our beloved Emma Curtis Hopkins, the teacher of teachers, she was known as, she said, all realization of good externalizes as good. Now, by realization, she means an accepted belief. So initially, we may not have a realization. We may desire something better in our life. We may desire a healing, but we're focusing on the problem. We're focusing on the rock. We're focusing on the illness. How much time do you spend during the course of your day thinking about your problems? as opposed to how much time do you spend thinking beyond your problems. You see, that's the difference. So realization comes on an internal basis within our unconscious or subconscious mind when we have accepted something as true. And for many of us, like in my life, certainly I've accepted a lot of things as true that weren't true, that were limited, that were wrong, that were harmful. And until I was able to realize something at a greater level of truth, I suffered. I didn't have enough. Whatever the case may be, I lived in fear. I lived in anxiety. So our spiritual practice, our spiritual mind treatments, our affirmative thinking is about taking us toward the realization of something better, something that is closer to the ultimate truth of spirit. And the ultimate truth of spirit is always good. So when we realize that good, it externalizes in our life. As I think, so I am. Again, to Dr. Holmes, no greater good can come to you than to know that the power already within you is the power to live, the power to create, not only to create for yourself, but to create for others, the power to do good, the power to heal, the power to prosper. And you'll notice the very first use of that power in the beginning of the third line there is a capitalized P. So that power in this context is another term for the creative intelligence of the universe. The power that we use that gives us life, that is the life energy within us, is the same power that animates the entire universe. So I have to realize myself as a being that is actualizing power. And I can actualize it powerfully to make my life miserable, or I can actualize it powerfully to make my life wonderful. And the difference is the process of my thinking and my feelings to create the beliefs that allow me to have a realization of good. See, basic lessons, Science of Mind 101, but sometimes we forget, we lose sight, we get distracted, and we need a reminder. Alan Cohen's one of my favorite, more modern New Thought authors, and he said, prayer is the attunement of your mind with the blessing that already exists. See, we use the term spiritual mind treatment, in our literature and so forth. Often we use prayer and treatment interchangeably. But the way most people pray is not the way we pray. A spiritual mind treatment, a prayer treatment, is an affirmation of something that we believe already to be true. The problem is we have to convince ourselves of that truth. Many people who pray, I know when I was a little boy, I was raised in the Catholic faith, and I would get down on my knees every night and say my prayers. And my prayers were always something to the effect of asking God to change. Like I didn't have a bicycle, so I would pray for a new bicycle. I wasn't planning to do anything differently. I was just praying to God to find a way to give me the bicycle. So I was asking God to change. A prayer treatment, as we teach it, is, I call it making a demand on a lawful universe. And the purpose of the treatment is to attune my own mind to be more receptive to the good that I seek. Okay, so I'm not asking God to change. God doesn't change. God is infinite. Spirit is infinite. Everything that can possibly exist already exists, either as potential or as something actualized. So what you do and what I do is we actualize, experience things, places, people out of potential. So what are the potentials that I have not expressed yet? Or what is the potential of what of expressing something at a higher level, at a deeper level, of something more powerful, more loving, more wise? So when I pray, I know it's about changing my own mind, and then having that changed mind interact with spirit, and the result you get is different. And it looks something like this. It's a creative process. So we begin with thoughts. Okay, and thoughts are three-dimensional. This is an important thing to understand. Thoughts are normally some kind of language. It could be read or spoken or thought. You think in terms of words. It also includes images. So we can think in images. Some people have trouble with that, but basically visualizing something that you would like to have, or you visualize something you would not like to have, right? You can just get an image of it. And finally, there's feelings. This is the most important aspect often of the thought because it's feelings that give a thought its power and determine how quickly or how much of an effect it has on our belief system in the subconscious mind. So we begin with thoughts. Thoughts then accumulate to form beliefs. Beliefs are subconscious. I don't know what my beliefs are. I can see evidence of what they are by what shows up in my life. But I might believe something, I might think something is true on a conscious level and have a different belief on the subconscious level. That's called being in denial, see? So sometimes I don't see what's really true, but I think I believe something, but I don't know what I believe until I see the effects or experiences or the outpicturing of the beliefs. So if I want to know what I believe, I have to look at what I experience. So if I'm experiencing, saying, being a failure over and over, there must be something in my belief system that says I'm a failure. If I'm experiencing very close, wonderful friendships, it must be something in my belief system that says, yes, that's who I am. I'm a person that has very wonderful friendships. Okay, so thoughts accumulate to build beliefs, and then the result is the experiences, and then we recycle back. We think about our experiences, and we reinforce the existing belief. We don't necessarily change it. That's one of our problems. So thoughts, in order to change belief, need to be in a different direction than the experience that we're having. Okay, and that's so. Let's say I've convinced myself that I'm clumsy, and I close the garage door in my head as I'm leaving in the morning, and I trip over things and so forth. And before I leave the house, maybe my wife, trying to help me, says, "Be careful, dear. You know how you are. Don't have any accidents today." And I say, "Oh, right, that's how I am." And you would think maybe having an accident, I would say, "No, that's not who I am. I changed my belief." But unless we do that consciously, we tend to stay in a pattern of automatic response that keeps us where we were. And there's another way that the creative process works. And instead of thoughts, we operate with intuitive knowing or intuition. And intuition is our deeper knowing. It's often connected more with the heart than the head. Intuitive thoughts can rise into our subconscious mind and form beliefs or reinforce existing beliefs. And then we see the effect of this with our experiences. And once again, we have this repetitive pattern. So intuition, you can tell the difference between intuition and like a hunch is that intuition is always in your favor. Intuition is always positive, it's always loving, it's always wise, but often we block our intuition because we've been conditioned to as we grew up. We've been conditioned to not be a dreamer, for example. I remember when I was a little kid, I would sit on the sofa and, you kind of zone out, and you're just kind of not there. And one of my relatives, a grandmother or an uncle or my mom, would come by and snap their fingers in front of my face, say, "Snap out of it, pay attention, do something useful." See? And I later realized that what they had helped me do was cut off my connection to much of my intuitive knowing. And that's something that I have spent a lot of years trying to rebuild, is allowing those deeper processes to come to the surface and not be subsumed in the monkey mind busyness of everyday thoughts. And that's a spiritual practice as well. Dr. Holmes says, healing is not creating a perfect idea or a perfect body. It is revealing an idea which is already perfect. Disease is a fact, but not a truth. It is an experience, but not a spiritual reality. See, the belief is that in potential, all things that are perfect exist, and our job is to learn to actualize something closer and closer and closer to that perfection. That in back of our physical body is a spiritual body that is fully healed. It's fully perfect. It doesn't need healing. And can we, through our thought processes, reveal more of that body into our experience of health and life? And the same with prosperity, and the same with relationships. It all works the same way. In Matthew chapter 7, it says, "Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asks receives, and he that seeks finds, and to him that knocks it shall be opened." In other words, when we affirmatively use our mind to develop a consciousness of the expectation of good, we receive. So that's a very powerful lesson that's consistent with our New Thought teachings today. So the wisdom of some of these people and many others that I could have cited is to tell us to get back to basics from time to time. Remember who you are. Use your science of mind practices, your spiritual prayers, your meditation techniques, and other things to allow you to move into that space of deep acceptance of your good. Okay, a reminder, if you'd like to check out my blog, my spiritual blog, it's newthought.wordpress.com, or you can just Google New Thought Evolutionary or Jim Lockard, and you'll find it. And I just want to thank you all for the time I've had here, and to say it's been a wonderful experience. And I look forward to being able to physically visit Templeton again, because it's one of my favorite stops on my wine tours in California. So thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Jim. Thank you very much. We're going to bring Amy back in. Dr. Jim will be back with us in just a moment for the benediction. And here you go, Amy. Thank you so much.
Namaste, Dr. Jim. So good. Science of Mind 101. I can never hear it enough. So just so you know, at the end of this song, I'll be doing a rap that I wrote during your talks, crystallizing your talk into a rap. But this song is called Power, and it's one of my songs, and then I'll do the little rap at the end. Oh, there's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, and it's capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, vibrating at a frequency, and there's a power inside that power, inside that power. You know what it is? It's love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. And you can feel it revealed when an open, broken heart begins to be healed. It breaks like the sky when a long, dark night starts spinning on the wheel of the world. Watch it rise. Out of the ashes comes another day of bright light, shining through your eyes. So much surprise every time we fall in love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Oh, there's a force in the fist, and when unclenched it ceases to exist. It shifts into light. So much freedom releases from the wrist. So insist on bliss, 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 insist on bliss. And love, 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 love. Sing it with me. Love, 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 love. Ba-da-da-da. All right, Dr. Jim, here you go. This was your talk. We are surely living an interesting time, so let's tap into the power of mind. Let's remember to call upon God to sizzle with zeal and spring from love. What is mine to do right here in this time? Hone in, use my strength, what's mine? As we think, so we become, so take care. Practice each day to be prepared. We are spiritual beings, and we learn so we can be a living goodness and be who we came to be. Look out beyond the current rocky ground. If you focus on the rock, it'll knock you down. We see what's going on, but look further out. Realizing good is how we bring the good about. The power is within, and we can use it to create. We attune to this power as we affirm and pray. Make a demand to see the good. We could create this belief which will bring about the good. Allow intuition to be a guide, and you will find that there is a healing in your monkey mind, revealing the truth of the great reality. Seek, and you will find that you are free. You are divinity. Love, 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 love. I think I captured it. Love, 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 love. Yeah, there's a power in a seed, reminding itself how to become a tree. There's a power in a cell, and it's capable of making a you or a me. There's a power in a word, love, vibrating at a frequency. And there's a power inside that power, and back of all that power, you know what it is, you know what it is, you know what it is. Oh yeah, it's love. It's love. Hallelujah.
Whoa! Oh my gosh. Amy Steinberg in the house. Holla!
I love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much. We're going to bring you back at the end of the stream. I'm going to bring Dr. Jim in. And Dr. Jim, your mic is muted. So I'll have you unmute your mic. There you go. All right.
Fantastic. That rap, I didn't even need to give the talk. She could have just done the rap. That was great. Okay.
Would you like to do a spiritual mind treatment and
Yes.
then a benediction, or
Were you going to do the
I'll do the
offering
calling-
first? Or?
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm a little out of order. I'm out of sorts. All right, Dr. Jim, you'll be right back with this. Okay. All right, my friends, that's right. It's offering time. If this service has been inspiring to you in any way, I invite you to please consider making a donation to our center. Our center is fully funded by your gifts, and we are so grateful for you. And it allows us to have amazing musicians like Amy Steinberg and Dr. Jim with the guest speaker. Thank you so much. This is awesome. There are many ways to give, including the giving button here on Facebook, or if you prefer, we have a PayPal donate link at, you can find that at paypal.me/CCCSL love. And we have a giving affirmation, which I'm going to put up on the screen. And I invite you to please repeat after me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. All right. And now I'll bring Dr. Jim back into the stream for...
Yes, for a benediction. And first of all, I do want to say, I encourage you to be generous in your gift to this community. Everybody's on a learning curve as we move into greater and greater use of live stream. And I have to say, I speak around quite a bit. This is the most professional live stream I've encountered yet. Just a beautiful job, but it's a lot of work. And imagine if we were in this pandemic without this technology. I think it would just be, I think it is a big gift that we're able in this time to be in connection via this platform, via Zoom, and all the other ways that we're not more isolated and we're able to be together. I celebrate that. So as far as a benediction goes, won't you know with me that you are never alone, that God is where you are right now and always. And all that we ever need do is turn within. It is here where we find we are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that knows only good. Joyously let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. And I invite you to repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my body.
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 Life is in my pocketbook.
Life is in my pocketbook.
Life is in my relationships.
Life is in my relationships.
I think it.
I
Think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
Feel it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I express it.
I
I
express it.
express it.
I accept it
I accept it.
just the way that it is,
Just
Just the way that it is.
and just the way that it is not.
And
Just the way that it is not.
Thank you, life.
Thank you,
Thank
life.
you, life.
And thank you all, this beautiful community. I want to give a shout out right now and just say I hold you in love and respect. Dr. Jim, thank you so much for being here
pleasure.
and blessing us with this wonderful technology, these wonderful tools, and the way you presented. Thank you so much. Amy Steinberg, thank you so much for your musical inspiration. This community loves and adores you.
Same.
Loves and adores you both. Thank you so much. And as we close out this love stream, we send our love and our prayers out to Reverend Elizabeth and surrounding your entire family. And she sent me a message just a few minutes ago. She really appreciates the love and the prayers and the messages, the text messages, the Facebook messages. Thank you. Thank you so much for holding her in this time. And with that, Amy, if you wouldn't mind playing a few bars to close us out.
Well, I think that, after that affirmation, we got to sing a little Something Wonderful from Harold Payne. Something wonderful. That's right. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Sing it with me. Something wonderful. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my body. Oh, yeah. I can feel it in my soul, my heart. I can feel it in my heart. And it won't let go. Something wonderful. Oh, yeah. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We love you.
Thanks.